Yeah, no, you won't, because it's just ours.
Oh, Madam Law Director. Hey, how are you? Tracy, let's get started.
Hold on a minute.
Right.
Mayor's on his way.
He is okay.
Yes, he is. Oh. Oh. Hey, Counselor. Oh.
All right. The executive committee meeting for Tuesday, September 13th is called to order. What time is it, Madam Clerk?
It's 6 p.m. exactly.
Okay, let's proceed.
Okay, Counselor Smith,
Present.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Present.
Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Stevenson, Council President Martin.
President,
We
I
have
think
quorum.
Stevenson said she wouldn't be attending, right? Okay, let's move on.
To the microphone.
Okay,
Okay, so we're getting a presentation from Food Strong.
yes.
Sarah Continenza is the founder and executive director. Their mission to utilize fresh local food as a tool to empower, educate, and cultivate health in communities across our region. We promote the cultivation, purchase, and consumption of fresh local food while simultaneously providing linkage to the other vital services and resources. Food is the tool we use to convene community members, bring in vital resources, and foster overall community wellness.
Along with it, fresh wellness. Right,
Okay.
so everyone,
Oh,
and the slideshow's on here.
Yeah, you're on there. All you have to do is hit share screen.
All right, use action.
If you go down to share screen, it's already on the. Hold on, your words. Oh, you're good.
Like Nate Martin.
Fancy, look at all that.
I'm gonna counsel me and I'll call you back.
Council,
hello.
wonderful to be here today. Thank you so much for having us. and
Thank you.
Giving us this time to talk to you. Really excited. Mark.
Thank you. Good to see you. Okay.
We're really happy to be here. Strong. I'm gonna make this quick. I know we have a lot to cover. So our mission is to use fresh foods as a tool to educate, empower, and cultivate health throughout communities in Northeast Ohio. We were started in 2018. And the history of it is that I had already launched a school garden initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And I've piloted at Iowa Maple Elementary School, as well as Artemis Ward on the west side. And we also had launched Caravan, and that was at the Quaker Farmers Market. So I started doing this work and it started growing pretty quickly. And I tried working with other nonprofits. It just didn't work out. There were some things that happened. And so Food Strong was born to oversee these and grow these initiatives. So we work with the community. We engage throughout the process, whether it's focus groups, surveys, getting our youth involved, creating internships and different volunteer opportunities. We love to work with those that we aim to serve. And we also do a lot with community partners and collaboration. Sharing resources, you get a lot more done with a lot less. And we're supporting an overall collective impact. Our major programs, we have our youth programming. So this is going to schools and guiding our scholars through building gardens and learning how to cook, understanding how food is medicine, and even talking about entrepreneurship. We have our Care Strong project, Caravan. We do farmers markets, events, and program. We have our Fresh Food Connect app and the vacant lot restoration initiative. So there's a lot going on. We'll get a little more detail here. So for our youth program, we built a toolkit with the Metropolitan School District on how a school can adopt a garden. This is available to anyone with or without bringing Food Strong into the mix. So we just want every school to have a garden with or without us. It's not about making money for us. This is about mission. We guide our scholars through the process of designing, planting, maintaining, and harvesting their own on-site gardens at schools. If there's already a school, we help enhance it and develop it out. We place a very large emphasis on native plants, as well as permaculture approach, not monoculture, meaning we restore the ecosystem. We're not just building a garden for food, because actually there's food growing all over our Northeast Ohio region anyway, that is wild, and we're trying to go back to some of our roots, so intended. And we always are incorporating STEM, culinary arts, nutrition, visual arts like murals, and entrepreneurship, environmental and community stewardship, in all of the work we do. Here's some of our sponsors and partners. Reading Foundation did give us a large grant to expand our sites recently. Our Care Strong project, this is a partnership with UH Family Medicine and the Case BA program to give students in the different fields experience in health screenings and preventative care and education, while reaching community members and talking about how their health outcomes are directly connected to the foods they put in their bodies. We pay people to participate with coupons to spend at places like the Quake Market. And then we send them home with recipes and say, here's some of the options you have, here's some ideas. Come back next month and let's see if any of the changes you make affect your numbers and health outcomes. We have seen improvements. We have seen people not need as many pharmaceuticals. We have seen people lower their blood pressure naturally, come back a month or two, and after just reducing salt or eating more veggies, their numbers have started to get regulated. So it's been a great opportunity for us to reach the community and then pull them into some of the other work we're doing. Here's our partners and sponsors for that program. Caravan, this is something we do mostly at Quake Market. We will do it at other sites throughout Northeast Ohio that bring us on. But since East Cleveland is a passion of mine for many reasons, we bring it here every month, second Saturday of every month at Quake. And what that looks like, hello, Mary. See you.
Hey, you know.
Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
So Caravan, like I said, second Saturday of every month, kind of one at Quake. That's how I know Dr. Pat. And we go out and we bring everything from the health screenings, cooking demonstrations and education, wraparound resources, such as a food bank and enrolling people in SNAP benefits. We pay people there as well and coupons to spend at the market just for participating. We have a passport system. Our chef of that event is Chef Sherelle Boyd. She's a native of East Cleveland and is a chef and is very passionate about coming here and partnering with us to educate the community about what they can do with in-harvest vegetables and fruits. And we have sponsorships to help fund the program. This is also an opportunity for some of our students to come out and practice some entrepreneurial skills we teach them, such as elevator pitches, selling some of the produce they're growing in their gardens. Now this becomes an incubator, so to speak. And we've actually had some students, like one who I started with at Iowa Maple, first class I ever did. She's now selling art on a regular basis at the market. So we love giving opportunities to people, and also gives an opportunity to our partners to get a chance to reach more people. Their success is our success, you know, and we don't ever charge our partners to come out. There's some of the partners that I'm going to sponsor programming. We also, you know, we're just very big with farmers markets. That's why we work with Coit. We just launched the Hillcrest Heights Community Market in South Euclid, right up the hill in a part of town that you can't walk to a grocery store. And we accept SNAP there as well and produce perks. And we recruit from all over and some, especially Cleveland, Cleveland Heights and East Cleveland that are on the fringes are pretty close as well. So it's enhancing access. There's the flyer for that. You have seen it. Partnership with South Euclid, where I'm on city council, and Cleveland Heights, and we bring caravan partners out sometimes. So this is something I really am excited about. This is our newest initiative through the Cuyahoga County, the Land Bank and Riddle Partnership. We have formed the VLRI, funded by ARPA dollars in a 2-year grant, basically going into communities and working with local groups to help them envision, realize their own dreams. So maybe you are a church or a community center or even a CDC and you have land around you. We can work with you to come up with a plan that helps grow food and produce food access, but also, realizing whatever other goals you might have. I've heard people interested in pocket parks, a food truck park, for more access, beautification, and getting the community involved in the process. So this is something that we will help facilitate for these groups. We will own nothing. We will just be guides and mentors and help fill in any gaps that might be necessary. Push Strong is more of a community engagement people in this, and Riddle will come out and help build out and maintain these sites for the duration of the grant. So we're really excited about this, and I really would love to see something like this happen in East Cleveland, which is one of the reasons I was so excited here to talk to you about it. Some of the partners we have for that. Our Fresh Food Connect app really helps us bring more food to the communities we serve, while also connecting us with more plants that we put in our many 13 gardens now we have all over Northeast Ohio. And basically people can go through the app to donate fresh foods and or plants through the app to us. We then can distribute it to our clients, our students, use them in our gardens, use them during our culinary arts classes. And it's a great way to reduce food waste while also making sure that people have better access whenever possible. Because it's just sad. It's a travesty to me when they when that stuff goes in the trash. The flyer we pass out. Okay, so let's talk more about what we do in East Cleveland. We built a learning garden at the Quaid Road Farmers Market in 2020 when all the schools closed and I couldn't go into the schools and work with our youth anymore. This is around the time that Iowa Maple closed permanently, 2 weeks after the lockdown started, and they didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to each other. And we had developed a family there. And I wasn't about to just like stop seeing these kids. I mean, this was already traumatic enough what was going on. So we built this learning garden with our students and with the community, and we transformed it. I don't know if you had seen it before we got there. If you drive by, you'll see the shipping container. In front of that is us. Before that, there had been a gentleman named Carl who ran it totally in the ground and had to do a lot of work to get it where it is now. But we've done everything from hosting classes and field trips. We built a rain garden, so that captures a lot of the rainwater on site. We built these on the left here. These are mobility beds that we built with our volunteers, where people can, with their back issues or in a wheelchair, they can come garden with us. We have a whole area for herbs and native flowers. We collect rainwater. We built a composting toilet. We have solar, and we also do a lot of murals. So we, Mary Kay Thomas, she said she'd be here today. I don't know if she can make it. She's on our board. I know she works very closely as well. And she has done so much around art with us to beautify the market and our garden while engaging the community in the process. So we've done a lot since 2020 on that site. Here's some photos of some of the stuff we do. That bottom left corner is our Iowa Maple students that come out and built the garden with us in 2020. And we have those classes. On the top right is we had some T-Mobile volunteers come out and build a composting toilet. So if you haven't heard of that, it's basically, where you use buckets. Once they fill it, and you put you sawdust, so there's no smell. There she is.
Mary Kay Thomas. Yeah, Mary Kay Thomas, how are you? All right.
We were literally just talking about the murals, everything you've helped with so far. Here's some of our sponsors. Some of the work we do in East Cleveland, we're at Caledonia Elementary School right now. We've also got the main parents. We do our Care Fund project with the East Cleveland Salvation Army every month. We are an active member of East Cleveland MyCom. and everything we do at the White Market. Besides our learning garden, we host monthly cleanups on the third Saturday of every month. We have a big partnership with PACE students that come out, as well as the food bank, and they send out staff. And we do everything from cleaning up, gardening, doing these murals.
Yes, yeah.
And we do it all year round, as you can see on the left here, rain or shine or snow. We've done a lot of cleaning up. We've also done door knocking, passing out flyers, signing people up for a newsletter, engaging the community, just letting people know what we're doing. Which is why we did that mural in the front as well. Here's a number you can call if you want to get involved, and out what's going on. And every time we're there, we're connecting with new neighbors and building relationships. It's very important. So I'm gonna let Ursula talk a little bit more. Ursula's our agricultural inspector. She is really passionate about, restoring our habitats while providing access to foods and all that. So in addition to what we've already done on site, we have some other ideas. You'd like to kind of talk a little bit about that?
So there's a large area kind of towards the back of the property across the street from the farmers market that had been excavated in preparation for the installation of a large hoop house in that area, which has not been installed, and I believe I don't think it's the so now there's just a big puddle
The city
there.
donated that, by
This-
the way.
yeah.
We've been like,
Yeah. So there's a lot of impermeable surface back there that has been collecting water. It's just been pooling there, and already it's starting to attract like dragonflies and damselflies, and different wetland species are growing there, just volunteering themselves. So what we want to do is kind of facilitate the development of that into a kind of retention pond that also has a lot of native species and is biodiverse and can provide a spot for people who do come to the learning garden to see these native like wild species and learn about them. I already do we'll do foraging walks or like plant walks throughout the back of the property so that the students and people who come to our volunteer events can learn about the plants that do grow there. And it would be really wonderful to be able to introduce some wetland species into the mix. And additionally, traditionally in this region, two of the main food sources were wild rice, which is the black long grain wild rice that's native to this region, and a plant called potato, which is another wetland plant. So we would like to introduce those species to the area so we can show like this is what wild food grows here that's very nutritious that has always been eaten in this region, and get people to get to experience that again and see it growing in their own community. And we will also be using the water that we're able to collect in this retention pond. It won't be going into the sewers and causing damage from both like non-point source pollution and sewer overflows. We'll be remediating that through the construction of this project. And we'll be able to use the water obtained in the pond for watering and irrigating our gardens.
thank you so much. And then also, we are very passionate about making sure this food house gets up. So, I mean, we're working hard with the market. They have a lot of stuff going on. They're all volunteer run. So we sometimes it's a lot, being patient, but we have not forgotten about it, and we're very passionate. A lot of it is going to require some additional resources. For our mobility strong garden, which is where you saw those raised beds, we would like to patch up some of the asphalt that's been crumbling all around it so that wheelchair access can be easier for people. And we'd also like to, talk about some of the options for some of the areas near that market that could be also used to expand our agricultural footprint. And so we can do more of these amazing things and produce more food locally in this region that could then also be sold at the market. What we're trying to do is not only restore our environment, but also get better food access, native plants, educate our community throughout that process as well, because this is a more sustainable in-house way, instead of always relying on, outside groups to come in with the food, which is important too, but I feel like if we can sustain ourselves and have money flowing into this and from this community, it'll be a more sustainable solution long-term. And that's what we're all about. We want our communities to be in charge. And so we have a lot of different ways we bring in revenue. We're hustlers. I started in 2018 and we've already grown a lot in our abilities to reach people. And so what we really like to focus on now is our ability to do more of what we love here specifically is food. And that's why we're so passionate about pursuing this partnership with you guys, because I think there's a lot we can do together. This is our upcoming gala. If anyone's interested, it's September 22nd, next week, Lago. I'm going to have some of our clients and students come speak. Miss Mary's going to be there. All of us are going to be there. And food from our gardens will be served, as well as, meat from one of our local farmers who has vended at the market before. And lots of just local artists and creators that are part of it. And it's going to be great music. So that's our way. Here's our team. Board. Ms. Mary has been with us over a year now.
Yeah.
And we work very closely together. Everybody can contact us. And so since Ms. Mary, when we walked in a little bit after we talked specifically about the garden mural program, she wanted to share a little bit more about some of the work we're doing and happening.
As far as the murals and like Ursula was saying about the native habitat, all of the dragonflies. I've come up with an additional art project that's going to kind of partner with what's already there. An interactive project so that you can download the app in your phone and watch butterflies and dragonflies and some of the native birds here in the area kind of floating around like they're in the garden, like they're a part of the garden. So
It's like virtual reality.
yeah, extend to that, to just take that, just
Use that in our schools.
yeah, yes, that part of the art, just a little further and to get people feeling like they're, when they come in, oh, I can do this with my phone. Everybody has a cell phone. So I thought about that as a fun way, even for kids, bumblebees, whatever.
And then learn more. from
Yes,
us.
yes, yeah, landing on flowers, butterflies, and then, because I'm doing a project with botanical gardens as well, and that's part of what I'm going to be introducing with my art for that as well. So that and the Easy Groves, I do artwork for them as well. Last Saturday was their festival, and I presented them with a two-sided mural with art that's gardening and growing your own food and harvesting your own food. So we try and make it a community event and activity all the time, not just at corporate.
But we also partner with the PC Gross Community Garden and the farmers on the other side that do the market garden.
The cornucopia event on the 22nd, where is it gonna be at?
Lago?
Where's that?
Flat. I did a flat.
Where,
And it's gonna be right on the water outside.
West 10.
was,
West
I went by there a couple of days ago, because I always try to do a dry run. I couldn't find it. I saw another event that I'll be going to, but I rode up and down 10th. Maybe I didn't go far enough, but I didn't see it. Yes, man.
Yeah.
Go down.
I can't hear you.
What do you remember the top of the class?
Mm-hmm.
It's at the end of the road on West Ninth.
Yes.
West
You know,
Ninth,
A-Law schools?
and then you go
Yeah.
down.
So when you go to West Knife, you go down that hill. It says, the facility says,
Lago. That's-
Lago. All right. I went there. I went down, I didn't see it, but, it was two things I needed to do that day. I found the other place, but I couldn't find what you told me that you were down. Okay, so, go ahead.
Okay, but on the left, There's some kind of a Texas cowboy place,
Mm-hmm.
Mexican place on the other side. You go down this street here. Not mistaken, Largo is the second club in. Next to a parking garage.
Right.
Or you can go up into that hotel.
All right.
Park-
Same building as it,
Aloft,
Yeah.
the same building as Aloft.
and the VIP happy hours on the roof.
That
that you went.
first left.
Now, this is a fundraiser, is it not?
Yeah.
So you want donations from us or what are you asking for the public? How much is the ticket?
I can send you a link if you'd like, and the link
No,
is on
no,
our
how
website.
much is the ticket?
So we have, for the VIP full package, which comes with full dinner, unlimited food, unlimited drinks, raffle games, all that, et cetera.
Mhm.
That's $150, and the main event, is dinner and all that. Yeah,
Oh,
community
okay.
card discount as well.
Okay. I'm going to open it up for the questions for the council. If you have, I see you got a couple more slides. And I'm going to encourage them to attend this event, okay? All right, okay. So, are you finished? And I can open up to my council?
Yeah, we got-
We'll start with Ms. Prohobiac. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple things. One, are you aware that the council recently granted money to Black on Black that included money that Mark McLean plans to use for the hoop house?
For the one on site, on our site? No one told me that.
Say,
No, I didn't.
I talked to both Joe and Mark about that.
I saw Mark on Saturday too. I don't know anything about
you, Mark McLean, the attorney,
that. He does a
Yeah.
garden nearby and.
he does, and he's doing a hoop house? Because
What?
we had issues with the hoop house. We had a guy, we came, what, 3-4 years ago, he never done anything.
That's the
So-
one, but we moved it, and now it's sitting at the market waiting to be put back up. It was really hard to get the posts in the asphalt.
Mhm.
So we got most of those in, but I think that kind of, that ran up the labor money that we had gotten a small grant to
Okay.
do. So basically, we just need to, to finish this project up and get them a couple more missing pieces and plastic.
Yeah, Joe Jujanic said that the hoop house would be used by you, by the EC Grows Garden, and by Mark and Company.
Yes, yeah.
Who said this now, Ms. Prohobiac?
From the
What's your name? The one that runs the Court Farmer Market? Yeah. All right.
I know she will.
Huh? It was amazing, and that was just a little diversion. Everybody thought the West Side Market was all that. And now the last year or so, they're going through a whole lot. And I think the potential at the Court Farmers Market is unlimited. We just haven't got
It's got a lot of harder.
right. Okay.
When I was originally on the board of the market, the garden, pardon?
Yeah,
I was on the board years ago. And the garden across the street did not exist at that point in time. And there's been so much growth. And
It's been really cool to be part of.
Yeah.
And it really is, there's something there that attracts people. We never have a problem bringing volunteers out. People love to be part of something.
you talking about the court now?
Yeah, our farm,
Yes.
our garden across the street.
Right.
And it's how we've expanded the caravans. As we started it, we might get 25 extra people there. Now, when you're there in the normal days, often like not that well attended, but on our caravan days, you should look around and we've been counting, definitely closer to 7,500 people to show up on those days. So we're bringing more people, they're spending the money that they have, spending the money in the coupons that we give them. We're talking about produce perks and the SNAP. We're trying to stimulate the local economy while we get, more people thinking and caring about this community. And it's all hands on deck to help be part of the change.
Does Joe have a lot of African Americans from East Cleveland or East Clevelanders, we'll say, on his board?
No, I'm the only one.
See, that's got to
I'm
change.
the only one.
Okay,
And-
you tell him I said that, okay?
And,
I
Right.
understand, and we've
Right.
talked about it too. I think it's
Mhm.
really important.
yeah, and I've been a long time volunteer, like 9 years, I've been volunteering here at the market, so I've known Joe a very long time. And I've always been active here at the market, so.
And he's been very supportive of Food Strong,
Mhm.
He's how we have Ursula now, because she started as his Vista, it's America Vista. We brought her on after. So, it's been an amazing partnership. Is there room for growth? 100%. Is there potential? 100%. And that's why we have taken an interest, because we know it's an all volunteer run place.
Mhm.
We know that there isn't the diversity that it needs. And when we're always constantly pulling people in, engaging, and, Miss Mary had been involved even before, we met her.
Yeah.
But, I see what you're saying, and there are these gaps that need to be filled. But I just see, this is the fresh food hub for this community. And this is a place that we need to build up, because the community deserves a place that is in good shape and has that type of access that they deserve. I mean, it's a crime that there isn't more access, and we want to help be the change, whatever.
And
And it's
there,
sustainable.
and there are African-American vendors at the market.
Yes.
And
yes.
I frankly don't know which of them live in East Cleveland and which of them don't. I know that that at least one of them lives in East Cleveland. But the other African Americans, I don't know whether they're East Cleveland residents or not. And
Matsu lives like right on the border. I'm not sure where
Carlos
But I
lives in
think
East
that
Cleveland.
They're close.
I mean, in terms of farmers markets, you're not gonna find, in my experience, but I know a lot of markets, you don't see markets that have people that live so close, be so involved, even if they're not East Cleveland per se, they're in a couple miles.
Yeah.
And like, that's rare. I mean, most of these markets you go, they're coming in from Amish country or half hour away, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's such a unique place. And there's so much potential.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hone in on that potential. And that's why it takes the whole village.
And I teach crocheting there.
Yeah, I've seen you there a number of
And
times.
have you ever produced violins?
I haven't done the violin lately. It was so inconsistent. I mean, I might try it again, but
They become during a caravan.
yeah, I remember the last time I did it, and we had you bring in such a lively audio environment that it's hard to hear.
That was when we did it inside. Now we do it out, and we learned to turn the speakers facing outward, which is what we really want to do anyway, because we want people to hear what's going on in the markets, because some of the things, we do surveys all the time, and we engage the community, and one thing we hear often is people don't know it's open, or, they don't think there's anything that they would want there. So by bringing in that lively music, the arts and crafts, all the fun things, that at least once a month people can come there. And our goal is, once they're there, we sign them up to stay in touch, and we get them coming back. And that's our goal, is to, restore the relationships.
So with the council and the mayor, what do you want from us? What do you want from us?
Say it louder, Dr. Penn. No,
Huh?
it would be great if, well, first, I would love for you guys to come out and see what we've done in person. I'd love to give you a tour. I'd love, for you to see firsthand all the work that's been done. If you haven't been there in a minute.
So you're gonna be there Saturday?
We will be, we have a cleanup this Saturday,
From what time?
9 to 8.
All right.
I think that'd be a great first step, but yes, as Dr. Pat said, if there is any sort of funding from the city level, and or, like, for example, I mentioned the mobility garden.
Mhm.
It'd be really cool if you guys are ever doing a construction project, you have some extra asphalt, or some, funding from that pool, to help us flatten that area for people with mobility challenges, then we feel more comfortable engaging with some of the senior housing complexes, bringing them in, doing gardening together. It's a therapeutic activity. And I know a lot of our seniors really love it. With their back issues, we create a space that they can still garden with us, but it's just crumbly and it's hard still. And we'd love to get that smoothed over. So that's something, the funding to help get the hoop house up and running. Once that's done, we have, there's so many things we can do.
How much are you estimating it'll take to get the hoop house up and running?
I would probably say another $2,000, just because the amount of labor it's gonna take to get the rest of the posts in the ground, because it is asphalt. And then we have to buy the plastic, buy the missing parts, and all that stuff. And that would also potentially cover the cost of doing the composting unit. that is attached to it, that can heat it up, so we can use it all winter long.
Have you done anything with the schools, our schools?
Yes, I work at Caledonia, is
Okay,
married to the mural program we have there, so if you go to the school, you'll see a mural hanging that our scholars designed and painted. And it's beautiful, and yes, and we've had conversations with Lisa Longino Burleson at Mayfield Elementary as well.
I also had Spectrum come out in January, do an interview with Williams, and do a tour and talk with Jill about the market. So there was a segment on Spectrum also about the market, the arts, and all of the things that it's about.
We've gotten a lot of PR for the market and for East Cleveland, doing different news segments and stuff. Because in 2020, we were like kind of one of the only operational organizations, really. So when we were seeking groups to cover, we were like, from East Cleveland, look what we're doing. You know, it was a cool opportunity because it's outdoors, open air, you know, we could safely convene, spread out so much space, and still give meaningful engagement to our scholars in the time that was so stressful and anyway, because their school's closing, you know, and it was such a cool opportunity. And so the exposure, I think, has been significant, and we'd like to keep growing that. And some of the cool stuff we've done serves as a model for other communities that they might be able to follow. From simply having a shipping container, you know, that inspired the AC Gross Community Garden to get one because they were having theft issues and stuff. So, you know, showing ways you can be secure and have the sustainable practices and they're innovative, they're sustainable, that, you know, can do a lot more with a lot less. That's ultimately not only what we want to do for our site there, but we'd love to expand outwards and, you know, inspire other communities to do the same. So this could be something where he's, you know, puts, you know, similar to what Ridolph has done. I think it could put us and the city on the map in that way and in a different way.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes, Ms. Mahoney,
I
go ahead.
wasn't really done. You had mentioned my CAPCOM, and I wasn't really aware that my CAPCOM was functional at this point in time.
We started just like last Tuesday was their first meeting. It's been a while.
So no wonder I'm not up to date on the last
That's
few
me, the new
days.
major of the AC Salvation Army. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of good changes happening.
So my COM is functioning in conjunction with the Salvation Army, or,
That's where it was hosted, the meeting was hosted there.
okay,
I do believe Noah's still facilitating it. But I'm not positive about that, because I didn't hear who was overseeing it, I just met the lovely lady that was coordinating it.
can you make sure I get on that email list? Because I used to be once upon a time. And my other thought was, with this, what do you call it? VL,
VLRI.
VLRI.
Yes.
yeah. We have Man Park, which, to the best of my knowledge, the last time I looked was in need of adoption.
Which park did you say?
Man,
Man Park. You know what that is? We've been looking at some areas of town too that have rivers that are covered. And what, you know, we've been talking about some of the cool things you can do with water, like there's rice, there's certain root vegetables that natives traditionally grew as well that are really productive. And it would be really cool to see if some of these spaces are in the areas where the rivers are covered, we could restore some environments. And then, you know, there's research that shows when you have access to things like the river, your mental health improves. And then we can use it also to facilitate more food access and restore the environment in the process. It'd be a really cool project.
did you say you have or haven't seen a map of where that is?
I
Not
the buried streams. Yeah, there's a map of it. It's called the USGS Stream Delineator. And you can access it online. Like, for example, in Forest Hills Park, you go down this kind of valley and it's wooded at the bottom, but there's a river buried underground in the woods, which is just I don't
It's pretty
understand
much-
why that was done. So like stuff like
Those
that.
are the
you're
rocket
talking
points,
about,
I've actually
it goes
seen that.
all the way to the lake too, and you can see it on Google Maps, like,
There's just a little part that's
Using-
exposed by the.
Mhm.
yeah, you
Yeah.
zoom out and there's this big like swath of mowed grass that goes all the way to the lake. And I would love to see that this be exposed again for the people to use. It's a river, it's a beautiful
Fishing.
resource.
Rowing. Therapy.
Yeah,
So many things that could be done.
and
And I
At
hope you
this
get
point in
some-
time, that's a good discussion to have with Brian Zimmerman in Metro Parks, who's gonna be managing the parks for us. The
Oh,
park for
all of
us.
the parks?
No, I'm sorry, the park, singular.
Just the one, the whole stretch of it.
Okay. What's
The whole
his name?
park.
It was just the park, if I couldn't.
Very nice.
That'd be a really cool partnership with you guys as well. It's really cool to restore our environment while supporting food access and, mental health promotion for our community would be awesome. We're really motivated and we have great partnership and stuff. We're getting a lot of support and I think that this would be one of those amazing things where because my passion has always been East Cleveland. Really don't ask me why. I think it stemmed from Southern and South Euclid, right? Where the life expectancy is over 20 years higher on average. And I can walk from my house to like 7 grocery stores. And then I come here in this beautiful part of town where there's so much heart, there's so much passion. You don't know any high school reunion party like here. But you guys are so much this, and I just feel like I can't live just so close and let, it's, I want to be part of the change. I can't just pass it by and without wanting to do something. And that's why it's always been a passion of mine. I've known for like 15 years at this point, I was going to be in East Cleveland doing something. So I think now that we've built this model, we've been building. I think now's the time where we really come together and do something awesome.
Orange Smith, any questions?
Thank you, ladies, for your service.
Thank you.
You said that you are at farmer's market 2 days out the week. Can you repeat those days for me?
We are at the market on the second Saturday of the month. That's our caravan program, 10 to 1. We also, on third Saturday, so this coming Saturday, we have a volunteer cleanup event. Where we bring in people to come in, we garden together, keep our garden clean, we help at the market, we clean up, we go trash collection. And when we have extra help, like when the food bank employees come out, we'll do some door knocking and handing out flyers and building relationships with the community.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor? Anything you want to say?
Sir, it's been a number of years. 2018?
Yes, I believe so.
Is that when I met you guys over there? You're just starting?
I think so, yeah.
Red fence over
We had
there?
never even had started the learning garden. We didn't start the garden for another 2 years. We just started caravan.
Wow, I'm really impressed and thankful that you stuck it out. 2022. Excellent that you've made connection with Riddle. Riddle is somebody we have been working with since I was on council. Bring Riddle into the city. Years ago, they formed a really good partnership with one of the HBCUs in
Central State.
Central State. Central
Okay.
State got a designation and bought in heavyweights out of Atlanta. We were working towards getting a house set up at Mayfair, around Mayfair for the kids down there. And then Damien just, yeah, it was, yeah.
That was so awful and so sudden.
He was a good guy too.
Yeah.
I've known him quite some time. So I like to thank you for sticking with it.
Well, for VLRI, we can bring it back. Of course.
Absolutely. So I wrote down a couple of places. I'm sure you are familiar with the foundation. Right?
Neighbor up, yeah, we've done it several times. We've got the COVID grant to build the garden out in the first place.
Okay. Let's see. The Gun Foundation.
Yeah, we engaged with them like 2 years ago, and they said it wasn't really inside their like mission at the time. It's always changing. It's always worth revisiting.
Because I was on the board, of the Venture Research Center, for other vendors. The Gun Foundation gave, not mistaken, it was food straw. They were out of Philadelphia.
Food access raises everyone fair. Yes, I was part of that initiative.
Yeah, I gave them a,
I still work with them and Morgan Taggart and everyone. Yeah.
yeah, I gave them a pretty good chunk of money.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, so their, I won't get into it, but their want was to get rid of East Cleveland. But here, so they may have changed their position on granting initiatives in East Cleveland. It's worth a revisit.
I have a story about that too, because that all arose from the Health Improvement Partnership, Cuyahoga County, that was being housed at Case at the time. And that's where the Healthy Retail Initiative came out of. It's actually a suggestion I made, like, why don't we work with the existing infrastructure and, you know, stop fresh produce and what's already here.
And the gas station,
And-
I was there.
Yeah, thing is, it's like, I kept saying from day one, why isn't the community at the table with this? It wasn't until after they made their plan and got their grant that they had their ambassador program. I'm like, it's too late. They should have been part of the planning. We should have made a plan at all until we had engaged our community. And so I want to learn from that mistake. That's why I always, you know, try to make sure that that voice is part of every table. That's essential.
Absolutely. And I was on the network community advisor. We kept saying, how do you plan? Go get funding and then go get the residents.
Yeah.
And we kept.
Because we know
saying-
better than the community.
Just, and then they wonder, come back, how the community says, okay, we're tired of coming in with lab suits, poking and prodding, asking questions, and then that's it.
Well, when the grant dollars are gone, now last paper written, it's like, well, bye.
It was,
I learned from that.
it's something that we have to continue to work on, because the grant dollars keep flowing basically just to do stuff.
You know, one thing I've been looking at too are some of the federal grants that are available, becoming more and more available for the initiatives, some of the exact same issues I just talked about in this presentation. And they require oftentimes a nonprofit, private, public, partnership. So I think that could be a cool way we work together to write some bigger grants together to make this more community wide.
So absolutely, the hoop houses were under, if I'm not mistaken, the US Department of Natural Resources.
Yeah.
But I was gonna get hoop house.
I heard the story about it.
Yes. It was started off beautiful. It started off here, and at some point it just all went south, but
And then they gave a second round of funding after it already got stopped.
yeah, like I said, I wasn't even an elected official in all this. The majority of this happened, I should say. But I would check with them to see where they're at with that, and if they're still giving money for, hoop houses.
We'll definitely check into that. There are also some funds and resources available for what we talked about with the native habitat restoration. And specifically around watersheds. And you have an amazing project there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm
I don't know if
glad
that's-
you saw that. The one on the East Cleveland side is one, but there's one on the Heights side.
Yeah.
As well, and the one on the Cleveland Heights side, that's off into the dam.
Yeah.
Is that where the waterfall is?
As a little kid, you
Yes.
would walk that dam up to the basketball courts. That park is, it's beautiful. Oh, it's an amazing park. It's an amazing park. And sure, the council had already alluded to, but we would be more than happy to look at some type of a grant to facilitate.
I did find one, I can't remember what it was called, but it did require a partnership with a city. And at Forest Hills, there is actually an earthen dam. And you can look, there's a dam database, I think it's also through USGS. But that dam, the last time it was monitored was in 2018, I want to say. And it got a very poor rating, which means it's at high risk of failing, and it's a level 1 dam, which means that if it fails, there will be loss of life. So I think that one is crucial to just get removed because it's over the river in the park. That's like part of the reason why the river's buried.
So I gotta thank-
Yes,
I gotta thank Senator Buford.
Yeah.
And I have to thank the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. So I believe it was 19. You were the champion for this city, and since I was elected official, he's the one who cut all that light at Forest Hill. He's that
Mhm.
District 12 ODOT, cut that light in. At any rate, he found the money to fix that problem. So
Okay,
that
good.
problem has been fixed.
Okay. I just
Compliment
believed it.
Senator Hugo in the sewer district is the party who was responsible for fixing it.
Okay,
He found the money. So that problem has, but it's a beautiful, and if any of you want to see it, you have to go into the lower valley, go back, and just keep going and going. When you get back so far, you'll say, okay, this is it, because it just literally goes.
So to make it more accessible and to reconnect our community with nature and all the amazing things this community has to offer. And we can do, it's not just gonna be great for the environment and mental health, like I said, but there's so much we can do around storing the food that has already been grown here traditionally, hundreds if not thousands of years. From here, let's bring it back. I mean, that could be something I don't think I've ever heard anyone do. We can put it on the map, and there's amazing resource here that we can tap into.
Going back to the Gun Foundation, when the Farmers Market Preservation Society, which is the nonprofit over the farmers market, was getting its nonprofit status, then the Gun Foundation was kind of a, I want to say holding company. I know that's not the right term, but they took they were the nonprofit overseer until the market got its nonprofit status.
Oh, so they were the markets, this was. oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and there was some funding with that too. You might want to remind the Gun Foundation. I don't know if Bob Jaquay is still there,
Doesn't ring a bell.
but he was the one who we talked to sometime after that about trying to get some more help for the market. But they might need to be reminded that they have a history in
Yeah.
order to get them to do a little more.
And we also hope that with Blue Strong's involvement with the market, it'll give them more confidence in.
So do you have a business card?
Have.
Yeah.
That and groceries.
Right.
Thank you
Ursula,
so much for your.
Mary
time.
Kay Thomas, we thank you guys for your presentation and thank you for your interest in the city of East Cleveland, okay?
I'm gonna give you, so this brochure has
Okay.
my contact on the back of it. And more information about everything we're doing. I have flyers, and then this is what we've been passing out all summer, it's summer safety and also information about the flea market.
All right, give it to the vice president, he'll pass it out to us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Mary Kay, how have you been? All right. Take care of them grandkids.
Yes, yeah. I saw the little one
All
today.
right,
that
yeah.
small one today. But they're wonderful.
All right.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So,
Thanks, everyone.
okay.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Council next is legislation.
Yeah, you want to.
Madam Law Director. I want to.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
No,
Sarah,
I gotta show this third.
don't forget to tell Joe what that's my suggestion. Okay, all right, please. We got it. Okay, that's been going on too long. I may have some, we may have some. We gotta get. Okay. Miss Walcott, who has the gardener right across,
You're Gladys.
she's one that we recommend.
Yeah,
Okay, so.
she was on council.
So see what he said. I don't want to check his book.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, we'll take 1 second. Take care.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. All right. Okay, proceed, Tracy. Okay,
Legislation, it's ordinance number 1622, it's been revised. It's an amendment to ordinance number 1420, authorizing the mayor to accept an award of $2,913,760 from the City of Cleveland Division of Water Suburban Water Main Renewal Program for water line replacement to support the engineering design for replacement of 5,900 feet water lines along Euclid Avenue, approving the expenditure of $1,918,177.18 in funds by the city. It's on here again for discussion because there was a little.
right. Mr. O'Mays brought up some concerns. It was,
Oh, no, there was a little bit with the.
With that one?
Yeah,
okay.
Miss Law Director can
I'm gonna,
explain.
would you elaborate on? Willow, would you elaborate on that?
Is
Okay.
Keisha on?
Is Keisha Chambers on?
Keisha, are you online?
Don't look like it.
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know who this MMM is.
Okay, well, the engineers own are agents for the city in order to make sure that our engineering projects are built and engineered the way that they are supposed to be built and engineered, that they are cost effective, that they're useful, that they are productive. And so they monitor all our bids, they put our bids out with the specifications, and they received the bid. On this project, there was only one bid that was received, and that bid came in 20% over the engineer's estimate. What is acceptable is for a project to come in not more than 10% over. So if you want to exceed that, then for transparency, the city council has to know that this project was 10% over the 10% that is allowable under standard best business and professional. Okay, so that's
So we-
something you
so-
have to know, appreciate, and the engineer withdrew his acceptance of the bid because of that. So that means that if you're going to accept a project that is 10% over the allowable boundary, then it's up to city council.
So what is your recommendation?
Well, I don't want to be a sad sack, but, you know, we are $1 million over because we didn't do it last year. I don't want to keep harping on that.
That's right, that's right.
But, I mean, insurance bill just went up more than 10%. I don't want to, you know, you made the point about, you know, my husband told me the electric bill is higher, the water bill is higher, the sewer bill is higher. I mean, every day when I go home, he tells me something else is higher. And so I'm asking to raise my allowance, but anyway.
So are you suggesting that
well,
if
it's
we
up to
continue
council.
to delay or defer, can go up more?
It's unknowable.
So, Mayor, what's your feeling on this?
So I would share many of the sentiments around the room without having to beat the former council up about it. Well, I'll just say we all made a mistake as elected officials and not getting that thing over the finish line last year,
Mhm.
not getting it passed. And look at what it is costing us, right? And part of this, natural economy, as inflation is always there, part of it is what we would have to expect, right? Because of what happened. If we say no to this, it may most likely get worse. Trust me, there are a handful of people in the position that this company is in to do this kind of work. And when they look at it and say, hey, spend all this time doing all this, we work on the bid. Okay, y'all wanna play around, we're not even going to bid. And you get the one person who does, they come in at a price that makes it worth their wow. Why? Because they know they gotta come in front of you through so you can. Chances are. I mean, we laugh, but we know it's real. And this is the result of what we basically did to ourselves. And again, I take blame in it because I'm an elected official as well.
Well, we're gonna correct that. Now, I'm gonna use the other council people, but we need to vote on this at the next council meeting. So I want all our council people to get their questions in. We'll start with Mr. Lowe and then you.
Well, I think it's, I hope we're all in complete agreement that this has to be done.
Okay.
Now, the two questions that I have relate to, one, which pot of money it comes out of, and two, how it's written. So I sent some information that I got from State Representative Juanita Brent about additional funding from stimulus funds, from the ARPA funds from the state that could cover the water infrastructure. And that's why it would be nice if Keisha Chambers were here and could address whether we can get this 1.9 plus million dollars from that pot of money. So it would be ideal if we could get it from someplace other than the general fund. Now, if
Can I ask you not to interrupt? When you were with Juanita Brent yesterday, what did she say in relation to what you're saying?
she's the place that I got the information in the first place. She gave us the people to contact at the state. And that came out in a flyer that I got from her, I don't remember, let's say a couple weeks ago, with the understanding that it might not have been exactly a couple weeks. But she sent it out in an information that she sent to me, and I presume to everybody else, but at any rate to me. And I forwarded that in an email. It went to every member of council, the mayor, and Keisha Chambers. Keisha Chambers responded by saying thanks. So I know she got it. Now, whether it's possible to get this particular amount of money at this particular time from that, I don't know. But I would like that question answered before we vote on this.
Did you hear the question, you guys?
About the available amount of money from Juanita Brent person.
Not from Juanita Brent, from the state. And Keisha Chambers has the information about the money from the state.
Well, I'm gonna ask Tracy, can you follow up with Keisha and see where we're at with this?
Yes, because I know Keisha got the email
Right.
and she thanked Counselor Mahovia for the
Right.
information. So I'll
Yeah.
follow up with her tomorrow.
I want us to vote on this at the next council meeting, so I'm asking everybody to make the phone call they need to make. So we can move this forward.
Yeah, and the other question is in how it's written, and I think that the,
This moment about the Juanita Brent.
Brent,
Okay, is there a deadline? Send that off. To-
Juanita Brent gave us a list of people at the state to contact. And every piece of information that Juanita Brent gave us, I forwarded to Keisha Chambers. Because I knew that she would be the one who would be most likely to be dealing with this piece of information. We do not need to go back to Juanita Brandt. We need to go on to, has Keisha Chambers looked into this, or can we get the money out of that pot?
Okay,
And the other question that I was starting to say was, we need to be more specific in how this is written.
well, I know Mays brought up, it was kind of discombobulated the last time we read it. It's being cleaned up. Does it meet our, is it sufficient now? That's one question to the council.
It is not. It says in funds by the city. That is not,
Go ahead.
Specific.
What it was. Go ahead, Go
Hey,
ahead.
guys.
go ahead.
Chairperson,
Yeah, you can.
if it is going to go to the ARPA funds, then that means that Ricker and X deal with anything, they took it out of my hands. Anything dealing with ARPA funds, that legislation then will probably be rewritten somewhat so that it conforms to what, the ARPA grant will fund.
but this is not our specific ARPA funds. This is the state's ARPA funds. This isn't the ARPA funds that we as a community have been granted. This is ARPA funds that are located at the state.
But the thing is, we probably will not have to be awarded them by the next meeting. So we have to have a practical plan, maybe contingent upon, we will fund it out of general funds, contingent upon us hopefully getting some monies from the state.
It needs to be discussed with Keisha Chambers.
Well, nobody's gonna disagree with that. Mayor. Are we planning on using ARPA money for this particular legislation?
So are you saying that Ricker and Hector wrote this?
Well, no, they do not.
Okay, so, yeah, so this, the way it's reading is coming out of ARPA funds. Now, I mean, it's coming out of the general fund, I'm sorry, coming out of general fund. Now, would I like to use some other type of funding source to pay for it? Absolutely. Do we wait? Mess around, mess around, find ourselves in the position we were in last
Right,
year,
we don't wanna go there.
ran out of time.
Right.
Then they picked up another job and said, not only did you run out of time, we can't even do it now because we're on another job. And there's a certain deadline that they run into before they can do this kind of work in the winter.
Mayor
Council
King,
prerogative, but I would not wait on this. I would not wait.
Mayor
All right,
King, do
Ms.
we
Rowland.
have $1.9 whatever million remaining in ARPA funds that we haven't spent yet?
Yes, we do.
This is an acceptable use. I've been discussing this all along. I read the booklet that we got however long ago, it seems like eternities ago. And this is an acceptable use of ARPA funds. Whether one wants to use them or not, that's another issue. But it is an acceptable use. It was mentioned specifically as an acceptable use of ARPA funds, of our own particular communities' ARPA funds. So if we can't get it out of state ARPA funds, I would hope we would be applying for additional ARPA funds for additional areas where our water infrastructure is rated as very poor or poor, so that we could get going on some of that while there are ARPA funds available. But I hope that we can either use their ARPA funds or our ARPA funds and save the general fund for things that our ARPA funds can't be used for.
So Council President,
Yes, go ahead.
if I could go back
You
to
can.
what the law director alluded to
Go
earlier.
ahead.
We are trying to get this thing green light so that it can move forward without any hiccups. Yes, we would love to get the state ARPA funds to pay for it. Yes, we would love to get resources to pay for it from anywhere but our general funds. It's not in our best interest to use our general funds. However, until we secure such funding,
Mhm.
I suggest that we pass this and designate it out of the general fund. And then if we're fortunate enough to bring in other funds, that we then replace that. And if I can, I wish the police officer was still here. Do you remember I don't remember if it was radios. I think it was the radios for the police. And then the new chief got 2 grants since you guys passed it. He's gotten 2 grants, one for like 25 and 29, that then cut into that money that we spent for the new
Yeah,
body
yeah.
cams, for the new body cams. So we just put that money, got to swap that money out, right? So a lot of times people make a big deal about financing, but when you look at it from 1,000-foot level, it's just numbers and words on a page. By the time you reconcile it at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you can move all that stuff. And you know that from being on the fiscal commission, you move that stuff back around and then boom, here's what we have, finished document for the year. And then when Chuni and Paniki come in, they say, okay, what'd you do? And we go over it. We say, this is what was done. This is how this got to this. Okay, so that's just my recommendation.
Any other discussion on this?
Dr. Patrick,
Doc, anything else you want to say?
I've said what I,
Okay, all right, let's go ahead.
members of council, mayor, law director, Mr. President.
All right.
Last year was the 4th quarter.
Mhm.
This year we in overtime and we down 7. But we have a chance to not only tie the score, but
Can we keep
do
doing
the, no, we're going for the 2-point conversion. Because I will go there because members of council who voted no last year are still on council. I'm like everybody else, I don't like to bring up negativity, but it is what it is, and those names are what it is. And while we in here politicking, we have what, 2 weeks? No. We have 2, no, I call it because I have permission from the people of Ward 3. So while we in here politicking, those pipes outside on Euclid Avenue, they still busting. Those businesses down there by Chapman, they still can't get any revenue because Euclid Avenue is all crumbled in, and you wanna know why? And I agree with the mayor, it's all of our fault when, because we are elected officials, but because of the selfishness of a couple of individuals that said nay during the election time, our people are out there suffering. I believe we would all love to get a grant and state funded grant and all that. We only have a couple of weeks before we vote on this. And it's very, very important that we vote on this. And if we can recoup the funds later, that's perfect. But we do, as much as we don't like touching the general fund, we do have the funds in the general fund. We are still in the black, not out the red. When I first joined council, it was 4.2 million in the hole. Now we improved that by humbly working, some of us working together to move this city forward. It's another chance we can show not only the people of East Cleveland, but the people all around this country and this nation that some of us can work. I'm serious, like a lot of these people come to, hold on.
All right, because I want to ask you one question.
A lot of these great investors and business people, they come to East Cleveland off the back because they hear a couple of years ago that the council and the mayor, the elected officials are getting better. People had to put their popcorn up because the meats that got born, which means we were handling business. Now they're gonna be nervous to come do business with us because everybody have their popcorn again, and it's just a show. What's going on here tonight is a show. We all know about going out and seeking federal funds, state funds, all that. But what we have before us is coming up right here, right now in the present. And unless we want, I'm saying we on the whole, that we want Euclid Avenue to keep busting. We want the people to keep complaining and risking their life, because those holes, somebody could fall in them holes. The one down there by Chapman isn't even covered up right now. I think they needed the barrels for something else, but that whole street right there, and then the businesses right there. It's affecting their businesses while we in here politicking. That's it. Thank you.
What do you feel about the ARPA money? Ms. Glover alluded to.
I love what you said about seeking the state funds, but what I'm saying is, and I believe what we all know is we can't sit, we're gonna do say, keep saying no or keep tabling this until we haven't even submitted a grant for state ARPA funds.
No,
So
I'm
in the
talking,
meantime,
you talking, I'm no state, I'm not talking about state, I'm talking about, ARPA, we got about 6 million left.
we can still
Yeah, we
go
got
into
some,
it.
we
Yeah.
got our own ARPA. What you take on that?
ARPA funds, general fund,
Okay.
if you had millions, we will use your.
Coming out of it.
It's all, it's all, it's all. When we first received the ARPA funds, we got happy because we said we could save
Mhm.
some things, switch some money around, and we have it. And the people deserve it, period.
Well, I appreciate what you said. I'm asking all the council to do the homework. And we'll be ready to deal with it at the next council meeting, okay? You need to call, you, Keisha
I'm
Chamber.
gonna follow
Yes,
Sheriff
go ahead.
Brown. This appears on September 20th, council meeting is the first reading. So you still have 3 weeks. before the
Okay,
second.
we got time.
And I might call for the change it to an emergency, because the price is gonna keep going up.
We can do that.
And what if they find another job and say, well, you all took too long, we have another job to do, and then we really stuck.
Yeah, well, we know what we need to do. I'm glad we had this conversation. I want us to, is the language okay, council? How you feel about the language? I know we
In
can
my,
clean it up
in
a little
my,
bit.
in my estimation, it's fine, if we wanna add funds, if we wanna add specifically where the funds come from, I wouldn't argue with our great counsel to my left about that, so if she wanted to edit and to put specifically where the funds were coming. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
okay, I hear
gonna tell you the truth.
Okay.
I'm concerned, as far as that, I'm concerned about what my colleagues say, not with
Right.
what he said. So if we want to change it to general fund, I would have no problem with that. But we have to do what we have to do to move this
Well,
forward.
I think we look at the general fund, the state ARPA money and not ARPA. We'll work it out. Okay, I definitely, we need to talk to Keisha. Yes,
Willa, Keisha and I worked on this. And
okay.
is it in the body of the ordinance or the resolution, law director, that we put where the funds were gonna come from? Because we wanted to because it was so confusing, we moved a lot of stuff down to the body.
Yeah,
That was more
yeah,
explainable,
yeah,
because you'll need all that, like
yeah,
was pointed out before, up in the preamble.
right.
So it
right.
might be in the body of the resolution.
I
itself.
just skimmed through this whole
Okay,
thing
so in the body of it.
and I don't see it. Now, granted, I skimmed through it. It might be there if I read it more carefully, if I spent more time. But as of this time,
Right, there's
I
no
don't,
problem with that, and then add it in, but I think we might have moved it down, we might have forgot to.
I do agree with that. If it's not in the preamble, it definitely needs to be in the body.
In the body.
I will.
Okay, there's a consensus on that. So we know what we need to do. Let's have it done in the next 3 weeks. We're gonna move on. Remarks to the public on,
Whatever.
what we have here, 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is your executive committee meeting, it's not a
Right.
regular council meeting.
I would like to ask a question as to the ARPA funds that you alluded to, as to, do they have stipulation as to how and what it to be spent on? So those things we have to check. I know the federal
I've
government
already
has
checked.
monies for infrastructure and all this. kind of stuff. So I don't know whether that falls under that auspices or not. I'm going to say, it's not professional for council to sit up here and castigate other council members or the public. Who would come here.
Who castigates?
Could I finish with my?
Yeah, please. Good.
The council, every council sitting here, we elect, has the same power and authority. Secondly, that because some councils vote nay on some things, they have that right.
Right.
They, right, as a council person, as they peruse the legislation or whatever before them. So it is not incumbent upon another council, it's totally unprofessional for another council to castigate that council, how they voted and what they voted on.
That happened this evening?
No, I'm
Oh, okay.
speaking.
All right. All right.
Yes, it happened this evening.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
really just-
sorry. Go ahead. I must have went over my head. I thought everybody respectful this evening. Go
Let me
ahead.
just put it.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience. When I saw all of my colleagues was involved in stuff,
Mhm.
and they said, don't mess with old me. Because he's gonna ask questions, and he's not gonna vote for it. And I thank God I was standing all out by myself. So I'm saying that to say to you, when I say you, I'm
Us.
speaking of the,
Yeah.
no, I have to say us. Speaking
Us.
of the council as a whole. When you say you. I admire council that ask questions and question things. Because if you're spending taxpayers' money, federal money, government money, whatever comes in, which it is, taxpayers still pay money. And when things happen, all of those entities gonna come into play, even the IRS gonna come into play. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from off the top of my head. Because I've been there, done that. And it behooves you sometime to listen to other people and not just go along to get along. When you're dealing with this, you have to be careful how you're spending money and where you're getting it from. Because if it's allocated for a particular purpose, that is what it's supposed to be used. And second, what did you receive from the lottery part? It doesn't have it down here in this. Says request by the mayor, Brandon L. King, sponsored by Nathaniel Martin, Chair, Executive Committee, received from the Law Department 8/25/22, placed on the 8/30/22 Executive Committee agenda. Moved to the 9/13/22 Executive Committee agenda for further discussion. What did you receive?
What do you mean, what did we receive?
Well, that's what it says here. That's what I'm asking. What did you receive?
That means we received the ordinance down from the law department on that date.
Well, then that's what it should stipulate.
That's what, no, it said received from the law department on 8/25, placed on the 8/30. That's how we people got the document.
As I said before, and I'll say again. Whoever is writing these caption, heading, they're fully written. They're fully written. And some of them doesn't make any sense. And I said that before. So I'll leave to this. I will ask council, be professional. You do not castigate the people that put you in office because you work at the behest of the people. You do not castigate your fellow colleagues, how they vote, what have you. That is totally unprofessional. From the White House to the outhouse, you don't hear go to Congress, sit up there and castigate others in front of it. All they'll say, the Republican or this Democrat didn't vote for this or that. They don't sit up there and castigate.
They say way worse.
In their meeting.
Way worse.
And they may get on the air and talk about it, but you don't, they don't get up there in their meeting and discuss that. That is not. And
All
so
right.
I'm gonna ask.
Oh, man, I let you go for
Yeah,
5
because
minutes.
you
So,
interrupted me.
no, yeah, but you got 2 minutes to wrap it up for me.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay, well, let me wrap
Go
it up.
ahead.
I would say this comes to us. Let us be more professional.
Oh,
That's modern.
All right.
Always.
Right.
You finish. Please. As I said, exemplify some professionalism. We have people coming in here that we want to do business with. And they see how we act and how we, it just, it is not becoming to us. And so I will ask, let us please exemplify this here and do not castigate our council in public when we see it and what have you. And even our citizens. Citizen has the right to put you here. They have the right to remove you. That's their right.
Right.
The constitutional right. But we, some of us have set up here and castigated some of the people that have done it. And I'm not gonna call a name, but there's one person I know haven't said anything. And I can appreciate that because that is how government is supposed to operate. They put you in, they take you out. And so I think that person knows who he is, and never said anything. Never said anything. And that's the way it should operate. The way government should operate. You can't castigate people that put you in. Yeah. So that's the way it is.
You want to say something?
Okay.
Come on, yeah, you can't, come on up. Oh, Mason, that is 10 minutes, come on, you can come up.
We only got 10 minutes left before it stops recording. We only have 10 minutes
You
left.
got
before
10
it
minutes,
stops recording.
you got the last part.
Hello, Council, Mayor, Director. I just want to remind our community, our beautiful city, and our beautiful residents that we will be doing our weekly walk at the tomorrow, which is Wednesday, every Wednesday from 9 to 11, if the weather prevails. However, I'm trying to get a place just in case the weather is not good, where we can go for our walk, because the seniors been loving it. It's from 9 to 11 at the Forest Hills Park Lee entrance. I invite any council want to attend. I have had Council Martin come and he did a good walk with us. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Just for smiles.
Okay.
It's positive. I had seniors tell me that they definitely look forward to coming to walk
Yes.
on Wednesday, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would accept the nomination to close the meeting.
Okay,
You want to say?
please, put it right. I'll be real quick.
All right.
I would hope that our great elder resident, you know, those people that's speaking of casgating and messing with my family and well, after the young man stood up in here and admitted that and apologized for all that human trafficking and all that, I would hope that our elder senior, a man that I've been knowing since I was knee high to a grasshopper, I would hope that he tell them to stop
what you call it, cash, whatever you call it. I will hope that he does the same thing with these people, include members of council. I mean, do you know how that makes my family feel? You know, to go around, after none of that was in, I got charged with none of that in court, none of that, all that fake press conference talking about I slapped an elder and I went around town threatening elders to say that they like that these people feel on the when they was going around getting petitions. Listen, I have permission from the people of Ward 3 because I've been quiet for 2.5 years, trying to serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people real quietly from the day they took me out there. All 6 of them running since last week. You only seen 1. You haven't even seen the other 5. And one of them have a responsibility to be here. You mess with Ernest Smith first. You mess with Ernest Smith family. The people of Ward 3 say, Ernest, why you been so quiet? Fight back. It's not to the point where I'm glad that they pulled this off.
Just for the record, you lost your forum.
Yeah, I know.
I'm done.
You can still-
For the record, I'm done.
Why these people around here lying on me? I hope you tell them to stop castrating Ernest L. Smith, messing with my family. Oh, he brings his daughter. I did some due diligence and from Ms. Walcott on down. They said it's great you bring your daughter. Ms. Walcott say I used to have my whole family sitting right over there. Actually tried to go to court and put a protection order on me. Put a whole article in the newspaper. Fam bro testimony at court for 10 minutes didn't have my name in it. The magistrate sitting there looking like basically, why are we here?
Yeah.
The police, this, the police. I don't hire, fire, or run the police. Stop playing political games with the people of East Cleveland. But guess what? Yeah, they found some people to trick and sign my petition. And they probably found some people, everyone is not happy with all those. So I'm pretty sure some of those signatures, they probably not happy. And that's fine. But guess what? We gonna show them what the people think of me, November 8th. I'm glad your people stood up for you. The mayor gonna show them. And this is me talking. This is not him. Listen, since the Gary Norton days, can't nobody tell me that we don't have a mayor that's been with members of council moving or attempting to move this city forward. I know exactly what this is. These are 6 disgruntled people, including 2 politicians. Everyone knows when William Fambro was Gary Norton's hitman. Everyone knows when the community used to say, why are they only showing Gary Norton on the camera? And why are they never showing anyone else? The people knows that was William Fambro. The people knows, well, I will say all 6 of them, the people don't know Don Jones, and I don't know Don Jones, and maybe she just mixed up in some craziness, but these people lying on me, right in my face. Thank God that the magistrate the other day didn't want to hear, he didn't want to hear anything about it. The whole he saw the video, the whole testimony barely even had my name in it, and it's all because they can't get what they want, and that's the mayor's seat. This woman said that she wished all Catholics died. Madam Clerk, stop me at any point if I'm telling lies. She's a racist, and the people of East Cleveland see it for the most part. And on that, I want to say I really want to thank the people of East Cleveland for seeing exactly what is going on. We've been doing real good, and I know that. I know we like to be humble, but this wasn't this council that the people around this county been seeing and started back liking. Hopefully we can get it back to where the people want to put their popcorn up. It's like the day she disrespected the presenter right here. Come on now, I didn't hear our great resident jumping up saying anything then. So
Didn't say nothing about it.
Right.
didn't say nothing about it. It's
We threw him out. Remember the councilor said we threw him out? Yeah,
Alright.
said we had the police, said I had the police throw him out. Man sitting right there, said, I had him thrown out.
It's a
Come
shame.
on, it's a shame.
Just
Well,
work
it's a shame.
together and move the city forward. It's a shame. But it's fine because the people of East Cleveland are gonna take care of it.
I just want to thank This meeting tonight, I thought went well. Nobody said anything negative about each other, whatever. And it's not always gonna go that way, but I thought we had a good meeting.
The portion of community meeting, the
Right.
meeting was officially over 10 minutes.
She walked
Right,
out.
okay. So when she walked out, right, and see her walking out is disrespect. Right, I know she walked out, but she does stuff like that. But she, well, I ain't gonna go there. I don't waste my time about it. I really don't. Okay, I'll leave it alone. Yeah.
I know, I mean, since I was leaving out the grass. You know what I'm saying? Anything to the